Hey, if you're willing to watch this video today, I'm going to show you something that could change your golf life forever. So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. Years ago, I was frustrated because I lost that. I was confused, I was frustrated, and then I met Moe Norman and learned the single plane swing. And so now I wake up every day and I know I'm going to hit it well, I know I'm going to play well, I know I'm going to have fun. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing. Hey, welcome to the channel today. Listen, I want to step back for just a minute and discuss what I learned in 1994. That kind of dates me, I know. But I want to discuss what convinced me 100% to go all in on Moe Norman's single plane swing. Now, some of you look at this and you're maybe new to this channel thinking, well, Todd just gives golf tips and teaches instruction. And I was right where you were in 1994. Matter of fact, I always tell people no one has spent more money than me on golf instruction. And it's probably true in the sense that I was working with the best instructors in the world. In 1991, I played on the Asian Golf Tour in 1991. When I returned from Asia, my mission was to hit a golf ball better. I played with some of the best players in the world. I had limited success in Asia. I had some good starts, some bad starts. I think I made 7 cuts. Best finish was, I think, 35th in the Philippine Open. I have to recall my playing back at that day. But when I got back from Asia, I was sitting with Billy Casper's son, Bob Casper, and we were talking about how do we get better? Like, how do we get to that next level? I was playing with some of the best players in the world over on the Asian Tour, and I was watching them, and they were better than me. And so I said, well, I know I need to hit it better because the guys I played with were more consistent ball striking. And I said, okay, so I started working with some of the best instructors in the world. And I was spending a lot of money working with these guys. And 3 years later, from 1991, when I returned from Asia, I was still fiddling around with trying to play. In 1994, I was basically worse than when I started. And I'd worked with all the best instructors in the world at that time. And so you have to ask yourself a question. I asked myself this question. I said, it's either me, like I just don't work hard enough, which I didn't think was true because I was hitting thousands of balls, working hard, really working on my golf swing, and I was getting worse and worse. And the problem was it was just a lot of confusion. There was a lot of misinformation. I would read a golf magazine, get in a lesson, and they would tell me 2 different things. So there wasn't really a model. It was a big problem for me. And then the second thing was I figured, well, maybe it's just I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't have the talent. Well, look, I had enough talent to get to the Asian Tour. I had enough talent to play college golf. So I know I had some skill level there. So I was like, why can't I seem to get this thing figured out? Or I just figured, you know, maybe I just shouldn't play the game. So I was that close to quitting. And then I saw Moe Norman hit a golf ball. A friend of mine showed me Moe's swing. Now I had known about Moe Norman. You've probably seen him on, I'd seen him on videos, but not very much. He was kind of this reclusive guy that people didn't know much about. You know, this kind of interesting, weird Canadian guy that was really good at hitting a golf ball. When guys like Lee Trevino and Tiger Woods and Vijay Singh and all these guys said great things about Moe, Ken Venturi, you know, you got to kind of think, maybe there's something to look at here. So I see Moe on this videotape, and the very first thing I see was what convinced me that this was an easier way to hit a golf ball. Now, let me demonstrate this for you. And I want to explain this in a way that I saw it, because when I worked with the conventional instructors in the world, they talked swing plane. You know, they talked about starting with your hands below your shoulders. So you have your hands starting below your shoulders. Now that was a tenet of instruction. I've even seen videos out there where guys are saying you should have your hand a fist length from your body, or you can't stand close enough to a golf ball, which I think is absolutely not true. But this instruction was all based on this thing they call the athletic position. You know, be athletic, bend your knees, hang your hands straight down, you know, relax. And they do that. Now, here's what convinced me 100% that this was flawed. When I would when you would swing from this conventional position, you would always end up impacting higher. So the shaft would start here. In other words, the space of the ball from my body was here, and I was impacting there. So yeah, the foot would lift, my body would lift, and my head would go down, and you'd get this kind of crunch looking. Now, it's not just me. It wasn't just me doing that. Look at guys like Ricky Fowler. I mean, they're great players. I'm not denying that they haven't learned to accomplish this, but you look at the address to impact plane was what convinced me. So you look at players, they start here, they start low, impact high, start low, impact high. And it doesn't matter who you look at, they all have a version of starting low, impacting high. I want to rephrase that for a second. I want to reiterate that. They start their hands low and impact high. So here would be my question for you. Why are we starting lower than we're impacting? I mean, it's a question, and look, I didn't know any better either in 1994. Well, then I see Moe Norman. And so keep in mind that for 3 years, I was working on a golf swing, starting low, impacting high. You know, variations of how close do I stand to the ball? How close do I stand? Impact high. And so I was working on this for years and years and years. Then I see Moe Norman. And what's the very first thing I do? I took, at the time, we didn't have really nice iPads and stuff, so I take a marker out and I draw a line on his club shaft. And that line was just like this, and then he swung the club and he returned it right back to that line. He started the club, took it back, and impacted on that line. So he returned the club to the same plane at impact, the single plane. We call it the single plane. Now, immediately, I just turned to, when I saw this, I just turned to my friend Matthew and I said, what the hell? That's just so much easier. So, now I'd never swung like that before. I'd never swung like Moe before. I'd seen it. So the next day you see me on the range, right? And I'm trying to figure this thing out. I got my arms out, you know, I'm doing a lot of what you guys try to do. You're trying to figure this thing out. But I'll tell you what, within 10 minutes, and this is me practicing for 3 years, 4 years with the best instructors in the world. This is me radically changing how I visually see the ball, how I stand to the ball, how I'm trying to set up to the ball. I'm just trying to mimic Moe. And I see this, and in 10 minutes, I'm hitting it solid. I mean, more solid than I had in at least a year. I mean, I was about to quit, so I was desperate. Many of you guys come to me because you're a little bit desperate. I was desperate too. And I started hitting it solid again. And I'm like, wow. And all of a sudden, I started refining it. And so I spent, you know, about 2 years refining this, and then I started developing my own instruction around it. And then obviously I met Moe in 1994, and he helped me kind of get through all the learning curve of this thing. But the convincing thing is this, and this is what I have to ask you. And I'm just going to ask you this question flat out. Why do you address on a plane that you don't impact? If you're a conventional golfer, why are you not starting on the impact plane? That's all I'm asking you. And I'm only asking that because I want you to use common sense. So the solution to me was, I got to figure out how to start the club the way that it's designed to get back to impact. And now, if you watch my channel, Graves Golf, go to Graves Golf, this is what you're going to learn in the single plane swing. But there's more to it than just starting on your impact plane, because if you do the work behind the swing, you understand that you have to have certain tilts. Now, we talk about range of motion, all the things that Moe figured out to become such a great ball striker. But again, just take a look at what I'm doing here. Instead of the conventional hang your arm straight down, you understand that we're not going to impact here. So the body's position is incorrect for impact. In other words, I call it the one mistake. Being relaxed, arms hanging down is not a natural position if I'm going to hit a ball on the ground with a stick. If I'm going to hit something on the ground with a stick, would you not point the stick at the object you're going to hit? There's the common sense of it, right? I'm going to hit that thing, let's point at it. If you give any kid, if I grabbed a kid off the range here and I brought him over here and he never hit a golf ball before, had not had one lesson, and I gave him this stick and I said, hit that, he would go, probably split his hands, he'd point it, he'd go like that. He wouldn't go like this to hit the, he would go like this. It's a natural way to accomplish, what am I trying to accomplish? Hit that thing with this stick. So what I'm going to do here is just point the stick in the direction of the ball, it creates the proper space because now my body can stay in its same space. Conventional golf calls it width. I have width the entire time. If you stand close to the ball, it's narrowed. You got to create width. How do you do that? You have to jump. You watch a lot of players, they jump off the ground to hit a ball. So all I'm saying is the easiest way to do this is to create a single plane, impact plane, take it back and bring it right back down, and address, back, impact on the same plane simplifies your ability to get this club on the golf ball. Now listen, there's detail to that, right? We got to get our hand correct so we have the face angle, because the other element here is face angle. So we need a proper hand position. We need to have the body's position to return it. So there's instruction to this. It's not like you can run out and just go point at the ball and hit it better. Obviously there's some detail to it, but the main concept here, the one that convinced me 100% that this is the absolute easiest way to hit a golf ball, was simply watching other players and myself in the conventional swing have a hard time getting to impact. Impact's the most important moment of the swing. So if you're making impact or the position difficult to get to impact, you're gonna have a hard time hitting a golf ball. If you can simplify address to make address easier to get to impact, you're simplifying your swing. Hey, thanks for joining me today. If you want more information about anything in the single plane swing, I'll put my information in this description below. Give me an email, click the link in the description, and we can talk about how I can help you convert to a single plane swing as well. Until then, click the bell icon, give me a thumbs up. I'll see you in the next video.